So it's funny, because I love working with my hands, working with tools. I mentioned that before. Like sometimes I wish I'd gone into the trades,
Yeah.
But at the same time, and like I just bought a router. In fact, I just got it today, the router.
And a new one? Like a brand new one?
Yeah.
A brand new, obviously
Well,
a brand new one.
it's factory reconditioned from Bosch. But yes, it's, for all intents and purposes, brand new.
Why did you need a new one?
Because I didn't have a router.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like you just had one line coming in and it just like fed into something?
Oh, my God. Bro, dude. No, not an internet router. The woodworking tool.
Okay. Well, how am I supposed to know about it?
Well, because I'm talking about tools and working in the trades, and like that'd be kind of a non sequitur to talk about an internet router. Anyway,
would IT be considered a trade at this point?
Maybe. I mean, why not? I mean, is it really that much different than being an electrician? No offense to electricians, you're much more important than IT people.
I think that IT could be considered a trade these days.
Sure. All right, we can go with that. Anyway, my point. I just picked it up from the post office today. I was excited when I come home and check it out, and then you wanted to record, and I was like, oh. And then we had to wait a few extra minutes, and so it was nice because then that way when I got home, I got to at least unbox the router real quick and just look at it, just to see what it's like.
Yeah. But
anyway, my point was just as much as I'm someone that loves this kind of stuff, I really should not be allowed anywhere near it. Right now, I had to take the day off of work yesterday. Now, today I'm okay enough. Mm-hmm. I messed up. I don't know if it's my knee. It's really right next to my knee. It's like, I don't know what you call the muscle on like the outside of your shin, like the anterior side of your shin. And, where it connects right underneath your knee. Like that's killing me right now.
It's like cartilage kind of, right?
I don't know. I don't even really understand what cartilage is, but, I don't want to eat it. I know that. I was coming down the ladder, Sunday, because I had maybe like 90 minutes worth of like home repair work to do on Sunday that turned into my entire weekend, because it's the same thing again. It was like, I just have to go up here and I need to put some caulk, CAULK. I need to put some caulk on some little spots where there's a gap in the wood or whatever. But then you get up there and take a closer look, and I'm just like, oh shit, this is all messed up.
It's a much bigger job.
This is a major repair, but you got to hurry up and do it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm coming down off the ladder, but I was like carrying something, so I was more focused on like my hands, and I wasn't looking down. Mm-hmm. Which I'm not really a fan of. Like, I don't mind heights, but I feel like because it's a tall ladder, I'm going all the way up to the top of my 2-story,
and that's
I'm like 20 feet
really.
up. Yeah, but I feel like as long as if I climb the ladder, if I just look straight ahead or I look up, it's fine. And when I'm climbing down the ladder, I just kind of look straight ahead and it's fine. But then normally I would look down before I stepped off the ladder, and this time I didn't, and I thought I was on the bottom rung of the ladder, and I wasn't. So I stepped down and I was expecting ground like 6 inches below my foot, but it was more like 18 inches below my foot.
Oh, wow. So did you like slide off or anything, or was it
no, I stepped off, but then I ended up falling over because I stepped off and my foot dropped so much farther than I thought it was going to. And so like that hurt, but then I lost my balance and fell over. But, it was on dirt. The falling over part, but the only thing that hurt was my pride. But I think my foot hitting the ground so hard in kind of an awkward angle, like I got something going on with the side of my. It's getting better. It'll be fine. A few days. But
you just weren't prepared for it, and
yeah,
that's so many people get hurt badly. I think.
Oh, yeah. I've had to go to the ER twice. The only 2 times I've ever gone to the ER was because I was messing around with tools.
Yeah. So what does the router do specifically? Is it just?
Well, it routes out things, I guess, is why it's called a router. But it's got like 2 handles. It's a big motor. It's got like a collet on the bottom. The bottom of it is smooth because you run it along the surface of wood. But it's got like a spinning bit in it. You buy different bits. Like you can use that to make molding or for like joinery, like making like dados and rabbets and lap joints. And you can mount it upside down in a table, so that you can, use like a fence with it or a miter gauge. It's actually really, a router is probably the most versatile power tool you can have as far as like woodworking goes. You know, you can make up for not having a lot of other things.
I know you were talking about getting like a table saw.
I'm still getting a table saw, but
okay. So this is not like this is like in addition to that. It's not instead of that.
Oh yeah. But this part of it is like the table saw that I'm going to buy is going to be missing a function that I wanted it to have, but buying the router will make up for that. I mean, I wanted the router anyway, but I'm going to make a table for the router, and if I have that. And I still have to go buy the table saw, but, you know, like based on everything else I just said about my sort of accident-prone nature, you know, I'm buying a much more expensive table saw than I, you know, especially for its size. Like I could get one for less than half the price. But this one, I mean, anybody that's into woodworking has heard of a SawStop saw. It's got like this technology. You should watch a YouTube video sometime. It's crazy. It can detect if anything conductive, including your skin, touches the blade.
And immediately stop.
It has this thing, it has a brake system. It forces this piece of aluminum up into the blade from underneath, but at the same time, it sucks the blade back into the table. But this all happens in like less than 10 milliseconds. So like if your finger or your thumb touches the blade, in less than a blink of an eye, the blade's gone and not spinning. And at most, you have a tiny nick on your thumb.
Dang! Like, so you're still gonna hurt yourself, but it's not gonna be like anywhere near as bad.
But I mean, it's a nick. Like I nicked my finger with a pocket knife this morning, way worse than. And I mean, that's not bad, but I'm saying it's a lot worse than what would happen with that saw. You know, because I mean, that's
totally.
You know, the spinning blade saws. You know, like radial arm saw, circular saw, table saw, like those will chop off
saws.
Those will chop off fingers with. You know, very easily. So, you know,
I mean, that would be the number one thing I'd be afraid of.
Yeah.
Is just lopping something off and being like, because
Yeah.
sometimes it just happens so quick. And I think when it happens, like sometimes you don't even notice it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the guy in UHF. But yeah, sorry. I heard what you were trying to say there about the hot new saw. And like I said to you, I'll say it again. Like that was 100% made with you. That was like made for an audience of one. I was like, I want Corey's going to get a kick out of this, and so that's why.
Okay, well that's good. I'm glad that I pretty much sent you a message as soon as I saw it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it had me dying.
That made me happy.
Yeah. So you're like, I know him really well.
Although it sucks because after I did it, like I thought about ways to do it better, you know. But now if I do it again, then it's like an old joke, you know. If I do it the way I should have done it the first time, it's like, well, now it's not funny anymore. So you got to move on, you know, to the next thing. All right. Anyway, what is this? 48?
48.
I think.
Yeah. This is voting day. 2023.
I think we actually call that
48.
Normally that's called election day, I think.
Election day. Yeah.
Voting day.
They're over in Ohio, they're voting on whether or not they're going to make marijuana legal.
It's a good Modest Mouse song, Ohio. I know you don't like Modest Mouse, but Ohio's a good song. Yeah, that's good for you, right? Because you can just pop over the border.
It's like it's right over there, yeah.
Instead of having to go all the way to Niagara Falls.
Or Niagara Falls, or like Michigan, or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be insane, and I find it really hard to believe that it wouldn't pass, like places that it doesn't pass, because it's just so much money that these states could make off of it. I mean, there's a lot of ins and outs to it that I probably don't know. I don't know or understand. It's just that everything you hear is that they're like the states are just making so much money off of it.
I don't know. I'm not paying attention. I mean, I would have to assume that that's the case.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Like, it's not. I haven't driven around California and seen like, you know, infrastructure improvement projects that, you know, said, oh, this this new bridge brought to you by, and then has like a big marijuana leaf. I would like to see that, but
why wouldn't they do that? I mean, just make it so very obvious, like, you know, y'all made a good choice.
I mean, I don't even care about that. I just think like, how can alcohol be legal and marijuana not? To me, it's just hypocritical.
Yeah, I mean, they are basically, you know, like the same thing.
I mean, in
terms of.
I don't.
One of them makes me feel less crappy than the other one.
You potheads like to use the term partake because you think that makes it sound high class. I don't partake, but I just don't see what the big deal is.
But if it was there, would you be like, oh my?
What do you mean if it was there? It's here.
If it was just like,
it is here.
But I mean, if you're hanging out with somebody, it'd be like, oh, hey.
Yeah, that's what it would have to be. Like if it was like you know, if we were sitting around and somebody was, passed me a joint, then sure, I'd, yes. But that's pretty much the only scenario at this point in which I can see myself doing that.
I do like to partake here and there.
Yeah.
This past Friday night, I partook, and I was. I think it's okay if we talk about this. I ended up playing Footbag on the Atari Lynx version of California Games for a very long time.
Wow.
And it got me thinking about how I would like to just do an entire 3 hour, like one of our Sunday night streams on My Life in Gaming, like just do it playing Footbag. Like, how good could I get if I just played it for like 3 hours straight? Probably pretty good. I mean, these are.
I wonder what the audience would be like if you did that. Like, if you're like, look,
it'd be really just like a hangout.
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. We're playing Footbag for 3 hours.
Like Footbag for 3 hours. And we're going to see how good I get by the end. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Fun. And, like I was playing it on the Evercade VS, which is like that retro system that has like the cartridges you can buy.
Which one's the VS though?
That's the consoleized one. It's not a handheld. It's like an actual console.
Got it.
I think it's a pretty good device. I like it a lot.
Look neat.
You can buy these cartridges.
I don't need one, but I think I see that filling a need. I mean,
yeah. What I found out the other night, and I think it's kind of interesting, is that the cartridges can be patched. So if an update comes out, it patches it right to the cartridge, so it fixes it, and it's just like permanent.
Yeah,
that's very cool. But I ended up playing California Games for a long time that night, and I don't know. We talked about this on the live stream the other day, but it kind of led me down this rabbit hole of so you played the Atari Lynx version of California Games, right?
Yeah, I have an Atari Lynx.
Okay, so the title screen
came
music
with California Games
is Louie Louie by the King's Men.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they license that to like cover it because they're still using it. And I wonder, I was just very surprised to see that. Like, I wonder if they went through proper channels to use it for that, because it's not on all the versions. It's not on the Genesis version. And I wonder if they just, changed it a little bit so that they're able to use it without getting in trouble, or if they like properly asked, which I doubt.
I feel like it's more likely that they're just getting away with it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That was kind of blowing me away at the time, is that they're still getting away with it. Like, it's still okay.
Yeah.
Like they're able to re-release those games and still use it.
Yeah.
I was very surprised.
I wonder if that's not just flying under the radar.
Yeah. Yeah. And nobody's just like has come after them. And I wonder what would happen if, would they have to pull that off the shelves? Am I blowing the lid off of this right now?
Well, that's what I'm afraid of.
Are we gonna crush Evercade's like future licensing prospects by doing this?
I hope not.
But yeah, the Footbag is Footbag the best event in California Games?
I don't know. I like the downhill BMXing. Yeah.
It's good, but it doesn't. I get tired of it pretty quick.
Footbag's pretty good.
Yeah, so in the Commodore version, is there more than there's just the 4 events? There's Footbag, aka Hacky Sack.
Yeah.
BMX.
The game calls it Footbag, but
right.
Yeah, growing up, we all called it Hacky Sack, because I think wasn't that you could literally buy a product and it was called a Hacky Sack, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's like Kleenex.
Yeah.
Where
like Q-tips.
Like nobody says like nose tissues or like ear
cotton swabs.
Sticks.
Yeah.
Ear swabs, yeah. They're Q-tips and Kleenex. And they have that market cornered so severely that they can never, like, anything that is any kind of stuff like that's released is going to be called Kleenex.
It's like default. Nintendo tapes.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm joking. Just a joke. Get all serious. Well, no, I think there's some differences there. Okay.
Well, of course there is.
Yeah. So did you want to talk about, I wanted to, I figure this is probably the big news, not news, but I don't know if you wanted to talk about going to the whatever, Multi-City Music Con, Motor City, Monster Con,
Music City Multi-Con.
Yeah. I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. We went down. This is the first convention I had taken my wife and kids with me, because usually when trying,
so now they can see what a big deal you are.
I mean, they like that.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, they thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah,
and they like to talk to the people that come up and talk to me.
Yeah,
which should be unsurprising to anybody who has like seen them on anything. It was down in Nashville, or it's like kind of outside of Nashville. It was like 4.5 hours away
from Nashville.
And, no, from my house.
Say, that's pretty effing far outside of Nashville.
Yeah, like located conveniently 4.5 hours outside of Nashville.
Like it was in Sacramento. It was kind of outside Sacramento. It was in Los Angeles, so like 4.5 hours down the freeway.
So we went down there on a Friday. We left Friday morning, and usually when we're invited to conventions, Troy and I have to split a room.
Yeah.
But this time they booked us so far in advance. They said, "Oh, we'll give you your own hotel rooms."
That's nice.
Yeah. So it was in that case, since it was drivable, I said, why don't you guys come with me? And it's, I think that I had mentioned before that it's been a little bit rocky around here. My wife lost her job, and then I don't know if had I mentioned that she had like thrown out her back.
Yes,
I probably did, right?
Yes.
Well, also so right after that, like our main family car, which is like a Equinox. It's like an SUV.
Oh, I
like
used to have an Equinox. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 2011, but there was a problem with the transmission.
About what mine was actually, 2011-ish.
There's a problem with the transmission, and it will occasionally start like shaking really bad.
Oh, that's not good.
And right. So we didn't bring that. We brought that to the shop to like see what's going on, and hopefully get fixed while we were there. And we came back to like a tune of, it's going to cost $5,300 to get this fixed.
Well, the minute you get transmissions involved,
yeah,
it's not going to be cheap.
We're just looking for something else now, because it's worth. I mean, it would cost more to fix it than it's worth.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a whole other thing, because the car market is not very kind right now to people.
Yeah.
I think
for sure.
Everything is real expensive.
You just have the one car, or
no? I have a Ford Focus 2018.
But your kids are not allowed in it, or what?
No, they are. It's fine. It's not very roomy. You know, it's
not good for road
we
tripping.
are totally fine just having that car.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
But if we want to, like if we have to pick up anybody.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I mean, when the kids are in a car.
Yeah.
Like they always like trash it, and I take a lot of pride in like how my car is pretty clean.
Yeah,
a lot of times, and then it's just like there's wrappers and all this other crap. So every time they're getting out, I'm like, clean up everything.
Yeah,
but sometimes that's impossible. Anyways, so we went down on Friday. The convention, it was kind of a weird schedule. It opened on day one at 4:00 on Friday.
Okay.
So it was not like a big convention.
So can I ask just out of curiosity then? I mean, I don't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. It's called a multi-con.
Right.
It's like what? I mean, obviously you guys were there because of video games. Was it also just comics or what?
It's comics and like movies and TV and wrestling. There's like
right. You mentioned you saw Ted DiBiase, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's his face was also there.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
No.
George the Animal Steel.
No, the guy that's the the Mouth of the South, something like Jimmy Hart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So he was there, and another one of the like
Bobby the Brain Heenan. That'd be cool.
No,
Bobby
it was IRS was there because he was part of like.
I don't know if I know that guy.
He's always like part of like $1 Million Man's like entourage. There's no Virgil though.
I get the idea that maybe they're on the outs because I see like I don't know. I don't know if they were
like,
getting like retweeted because
like
I used to follow the Iron Sheik on Instagram.
Yeah.
And maybe he was, because of that, like I would see, that Virgil would go to these conventions kind of like by himself. And I always thought it was weird. Like, shouldn't you and Ted DiBiase be like together? That was kind of a package deal.
Well, did you ever see like the blog, like Lonely Virgil?
No.
Where all it was just like pictures of him at a con sitting by himself with like nobody talking to him. It's like, it's horrible. It's horrible and really, really sad. But at the same time,
but I mean, you have to know that you're sort of an ancillary character. I mean, that's like if Miss Elizabeth 100%. Went on tour by herself, and it's like, who wants to talk to you? Like, except to ask you questions about Macho Man. Like, no disrespect, but like, gotta kind of know your place. Like, I mean, I don't.
It was cool. They're all like staying at our hotel.
Yeah.
So it's really funny. I was down there. I was down there getting breakfast. They had a really good breakfast at this place. They had it was like all like they had biscuits and gravy and eggs and all this other stuff. And in a time when I think the hotels are getting more and more stingy with their breakfast, they really went above and beyond. But I was there, and so my kids never really watched wrestling. Like I maybe have put it on here and there, but they just
even if they
really
did, they wouldn't know who these old guys are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was down there with my daughter. She's 11, and she was. we were just sitting there, and I was like eating some eggs, and she was like having some sausage or something like that, and she was like, "Why are the wrestlers here? Like, why? Like, that seems like a really, really like a really easy thing to do."
What do you mean? Or what does she mean?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what she said. She's like, she didn't really understand why wrestlers were there and like why it's a big deal. And
does she not understand? I mean, wrestling is extremely popular. I mean,
exactly.
I don't really get it personally, but that's whatever. I mean, that's
Well, I mean, I had to go and explain that like these people, like they destroy their bodies.
Yeah.
Over the course of time, and I had to kind of explain to her like these are like a lot of the wrestlers that I watched when I was a kid. I didn't watch wrestling religiously. But I mean, I would watch it when it was on, like maybe on Saturday afternoon or sometimes when it was on Saturday night instead of SNL as like Saturday night main event or whatever.
But I mean, and these people are far bigger stars than any of us,
100%
clowns on YouTube.
Far, far bigger. Yes. Yeah. And I felt really bad because she started saying that, and I like looked up and like Ted DiBiase was like right behind her. Like getting food.
Yeah. What was he
from the thing? And I was like, no, listen, you gotta understand that these people like they like put so much like their entire lives into this thing and there's just millions of people that love it and love like what they've done, and they just like destroy their bodies, like destroy themselves physically. Yeah. Working so hard.
Yeah. So were you saying that because you were trying to explain something to your... That almost sounds like performative
I totally
because like, oh crap, Ted DiBiase's going to crush my daughter's head like a melon.
No. I mean, like I believe that because you hear so much about people like wrestlers,
Oh, I can only imagine. Like, it's fake or it's choreographed, whatever. It's still...
it's still
what
like
that must do to your body
impact.
Is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I was saying that because, like I wanted her to understand that, like, just because she doesn't watch it and doesn't understand it doesn't mean that it's like bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there was that, like, there was wrestlers and there was Danny Trejo was there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've had his beer.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. He's got like some beer that has his name on it.
Interesting. Well, he had like a whole group of like handlers with him at all times.
He had a group of what?
Like handlers. Like he had to have
sure.
like apparently like there was like police officers with him.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Was he like worried about getting like messed with or something? I mean,
I don't think so.
okay.
He seemed very, very friendly. He was just like kind of walking around, and I think they're just kind of keeping an eye, to like make sure nothing happens.
All right. Well, that's good.
But I mean, I was very surprised that he was very short. I was not expecting him to be as. I imagined him to be like a towering guy. Like really tall.
Kind of, yeah.
But I mean, it was funny because we had like a green room we can go in and get snacks and stuff, and I went in there and he was in there.
Yeah.
And
were his handlers in there with him, or do they wait outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like getting some snacks, and somebody was working at the con came in there with their kids, and he was like so cool with the kids. He was like, "Hey," like just like turned to him and just like was like, "Hey guys." It just like totally unprompted. Like they didn't know. I don't know if they know who he was, but he was just like really, really nice and genuine with them, and like talked to them, even though I don't think they like cared about talking to him.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
It was just I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But yes, it was Try and myself, and we were next to Mark from Classic Game Room.
Yeah.
And also Steve from Retro Tech was there, and Chris from Displaced Gamers was there because they're Chris from Displaced Gamers is local. He lives in Nashville.
Okay.
And Steve from Retro Tech, Steve restores like old CRTs. He's like,
oh, all right.
So I mean that's like his big thing. He is probably one of the like first and foremost forward-facing people that like restore CRTs now.
Okay.
He does like a channel that does pretty well, but also he just is one of the few people that really know all about this, like a dying technology, right?
Yeah.
So he was there and he brought a bunch of CRTs and set them up, and this was his first time trying to sell them. And
he was like selling like, here's a CRT monitor that I have gone through and like restored. To but
they're all just like consumer CRTs.
So what? I mean, that's
exactly. So he's like cleaned them up, like recapped them, and done all this other stuff to them, and he sold through all that stuff by the end of the weekend. But it was very cool because talking to Mark from Classic Game Room, because I knew he was going to be there, and I didn't know that we were going to be like right next to him. So it was kind of surreal because he's kind of a legend.
He's like kind of the godfather,
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people will say, like video game YouTubers like started with AVGN, and like AVGN and like people like surrounding him is like generation 1. But I'd say that CGR is like generation 0.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like by himself.
Well, I mean, he had Dave, it's him and Dave doing it together. But yes.
Right. But yeah. So, but I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. Like he is.
In fact, I reached out to Dave the other day. I want to try to get him on the show at some point too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like
he's a cool guy. Well, he runs the. I don't know if that con is still going on. There was a convention in New Jersey called. It was called Another Video Game Convention. That was the name of the.
Oh, okay.
And he ran it, and so I think that was like the first video game convention I ever got invited to, like as a YouTuber.
Oh, cool.
And that's because like he was a fan of my show. And so for me, it was kind of surreal because, I go out there and like he picks me up at the hotel and I'm just like, dude, you were like half of the original classic. Mm-hmm. Like him and Mark did it together back in like 99, 2000. Like the original Classic Game Room was the two of them.
So he's not the one that would do like the Undertow, like CGR.
No,
Undertow.
No, because Undertow didn't start until Mark came back. When Mark started on YouTube in like, what is that, 2008 or something like that?
Right.
That iteration of Classic Game Room is when they had.
Okay.
He started the second Undertow channel with that guy Derek, I think was his name. But no, like originally when they first started Classic Game Room, I think that Dave just worked with him from USA Live, because I think they met in film school, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But they had like a little round table and they both sat at the table together and did the original Classic Game Room episodes.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, I think that Mark from Classic Game Room is going to be on here with us, hopefully sometime soon.
That would be exciting.
Yes, it was cool because, like I was excited to meet him. He does not watch any like current YouTube, so he had no idea.
Yeah.
Who we are, but I felt that we became like pretty fast friends.
Yeah.
Especially since, he had so much. Like I was dying. I bought like multiple shirts. I got the Crunk Lion T-shirt.
Yeah.
Which is like Crunk Lion malt liquor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like made from napalm.
Do they have does he have like Jesus the Coked Out Chicken shirts or
no shirts of that, but he's selling the comics and stuff. And I got one of his got a pint glass that says like insert beer, output fun.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Yeah, but it was cool. I'm not gonna. We don't need to talk about him like a ton.
Yeah.
Because we want to save that for when he will hopefully be on here with us.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think that we will easily fill 90 plus minutes.
Well, it's going to be hard, because I always just feel like, I want to have people like that on the show, but then I want them to just be like a third guy at the bar and we're all just sort of BSing. Yeah. But I think having him on the show, it's going to be really hard to not like want to talk to him about, I could ask that guy so many questions about, because so much like when I started my show, so much of it was like, well, how does he do it? Like how does he record gameplay footage?
Well, you want to know how he records gameplay footage now?
I don't know. He used to do it to digital 8 tapes back in the day.
Well, now he points a camera at a CRT.
That's the old school way to do it, man.
Yep.
Although now with like these Panasonic, with the I don't know, what do you call the
like the synchro scan?
Yeah, synchro scan. The fine adjustment of the shutter speed. Like now it's easy to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's going to be cool. I don't think you should hold back, to ask him questions. I'm sure that he would love to talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially since he kind of took a rather long break.
I just thought he was done. Like I didn't think he was ever.
Well, he was doing
back,
other stuff. He was talking about how the publishing side.
I know he wasn't retired, but I'm saying I thought he was done making CGR videos. Right. So I'm glad he's not. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. He started again, I think, at the beginning of this year.
Yeah. And he was gone. It was like years he was gone, right?
Yeah.
So, because, for example, just because I haven't made a launch video in a while doesn't mean the show is over. We take a break sometimes. Just
because we haven't done RGB like 2.0, whatever it is, like since 6 years since the PS2 episode does not mean that we don't want to do any more of those.
Yeah. Life is long. There's plenty of time.
Yeah.
For whatever. All right. So,
but it was a good time.
I did have a question though. I was curious.
Sure.
Because I've never been to Nashville or anywhere in that area. Did you have any hot chicken?
Not proper hot chicken. No.
Is that because what I was going to ask is like if that's like a real thing? Because like around here you could buy like quote unquote Nashville hot chicken, but then I wonder, is that like California Pizza Kitchen? Like nobody in California eats that crap.
Right.
Like that's not how we eat. We eat pizza like normal pizza here. We don't do the crazy CPK stuff. And so that made me wonder is just like, well, you could make, come up with a product and call it Nashville hot chicken and sell it on the West Coast, and none of us would know the difference. Like, oh, this is good. This is what they eat in Nashville, huh?
Yeah. We didn't have any proper hot chicken.
Yeah.
I do want to give a big shout out to Dustin, who was on the show. He was like our first guest to be on the show.
Oh, yeah,
us,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think he was.
So he lives down in Chattanooga. So him and his he has some family in Nashville. So they came up, and he came out to the convention along with his brother-in-law on Saturday. On Saturday. But he showed up for a little bit on Friday night as well. And my wife and the kids were really interested in going to, like, doing stuff like leaving the convention and doing some stuff in Nashville proper for a little bit.
Sure.
And she really wanted to go to the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh yeah, sure.
But it was real expensive. But he was like, my brother-in-law's with me, and his wife is a tour guide there. So if you just go, can probably, get you a discount.
Oh, nice.
So they did, and they just like had a great time.
That's cool.
Seeing that place. Yeah.
Run into Dolly Parton or anything?
No, I probably would have heard about that if that had happened.
Yeah.
But seeing her photos of it, it seemed pretty cool. I feel sad that I didn't get to, but maybe we'll go back again.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else?
Other than that, we were there. So Saturday night after the convention was over, it was me, Try, Mark from Classic Game Room, Steve from Retrotech, and Chris from Displaced Gamers, and we went out to dinner, and my family. We all went out to dinner, and that was a lot of fun. And then we stopped at the gas station and we got like beers and brought them back to the hotel to like sit in the lobby.
Yeah, they don't care if you do that. Like if you're drinking beer in the lobby, nobody says anything.
They didn't complain.
That's cool.
Well, there's like a back patio and it kind of rained a little bit here and there.
Yeah,
but it was fine. We sat in there and hung out for a while, and then
you didn't invite the $1 Million Man or the Mouth of the South to come hang out.
Well, if we had seen them, we probably would have.
Yeah.
But when we were sitting there, then Daniel Pacina, who plays Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
And him and his brother, Carlos Pacina, who plays Raiden.
Oh, that I didn't know that.
And Tim Kitzrow.
Oh.
Who is like the voice of
He's
NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Came in.
Oh.
And Mark Bustler was like, "Hey guys, come on over. Here's some beers."
Yeah.
And they just like hung out, and
that's pretty cool.
We like hung out with them. I mean, I ran out of steam like around like midnight, but I guess they stayed down there until like 2:30 a.m.
Tim Kitzrow's really gotten a lot of mileage out of.
Dude, seriously,
that's
the thing.
Good
like,
for him. Like that's not a criticism at all. I'm saying like good for him. But it's kind of crazy at the same time. He's just like he's on fire, and he's like still going around to conventions and stuff.
Well, what he does at his booth is he has a tournament edition machine there. People will be there, and he will like do like live commentary.
Oh my God, that's awesome!
It is and he'll do it when you're not expecting. Also, he'll like get behind the machine and do it.
Yeah,
he carries his microphone around that has like all these voice effects, and he has like a big speaker, and you can hook it up to like Bluetooth speakers and stuff. Yeah. He's like, he came over. He's like, you got to get one of these because I got it off of eBay. It was $30. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah,
it has all these different voice effects. And then I went on when we saw him later on that night. I'm like, I got to get one of those. One of those microphones. It's called the Party Machine.
I think I've heard of that.
And it was like, oh, it's 50% off from this eBay seller, brand new, and it was like $16 shipped. So
that sounds like something you could definitely use on your Sunday night live streams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I think the kids were excited, but I'm gonna like put that back as a Christmas gift.
Oh, okay.
Bust out.
So
the
like,
party
but is he like selling merch or like what? Like what's in it for him to do all this stuff? Because it's like he doesn't make money when they sell copies of NBA Jam, does he? I mean,
no. But what he does at a lot of conventions is he will go around and buy up all the copies of NBA Jam for different systems and sign them and sell them.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's very smart, and he has like some arcade marquees that he signs and stuff like that.
All right, makes sense.
I don't know if they're repros or if they're originals. I'm guessing that they're repros because they. I
mean, who really cares? I mean, you're mostly buying it for the guy's autograph, so
right.
I don't think anybody's going to be like, "Oh, this is a reproduction."
Right, but like I have seen him and both the Mortal Kombat people like at many different conventions.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years. And I think it was Daniel Pacino was talking about how he had gone to he's been to a convention on like every single continent at this point. And he's I
get it,
done all these crazy things. And I was like, I don't blame you.
No,
I don't blame you. I mean, like I have no idea if there's like an endpoint where people are not going to care.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know if when it will happen, when there will be, just so much like.
Well,
the original Mortal Kombat will be so long ago that people won't.
Yeah, but
care.
I mean,
how
old is Daniel Pacina at this point? Like, all he's got to do is run out the clock until he's retirement age. I mean,
exactly. And I said, what? Yeah, I don't blame him for all of them, like riding this thing till the wheels fall off.
Would you rather have a workaday job, or would you rather have a job where you go around to a bunch of places where people think you're awesome?
Yeah, and everything is paid for on those trips.
Yeah.
So they were really cool. It was just cool, like kind of interesting, like talking to these guys,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was very fun. But later that night, we had to go back to the convention the next day.
Yeah.
But completely separate from everything, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like in a cold sweat.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna if I try to sit up, I'm gonna throw up.
Because you drank too much?
No, I mean I had like 3 drinks the entire day.
Oh, all right.
I mean, if I was gonna throw up, I would have thrown up the night before because.
Well, you said it was like
Steve
the middle
from
of the night.
Is going around carrying this like Old Forester whiskey.
Oh no!
And he's like giving.
It's like, good whiskey though.
Yeah. But it's like it was real strong, and I was definitely. So I had two of them. I had 2 pours of them.
Yeah.
And I was literally seeing double.
Oh my God.
Anyways, I woke up and I was like lay there. I'm like, oh my God, if I move, I'm gonna throw up. And I called for my wife and I'm like, can you grab the trash can because I'm gonna throw up if I sit up to try to get to it.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, just a second. I just got done throwing up.
Oh, food poisoning?
I have no idea. I do not know. But she got it for me, and I went and I didn't throw up. I dry heaved, and it was like bile, essentially.
Oh, so that's like a moist heave, kind of.
Yeah, but my mouth got real dry. We're all like.
No, I get it. Yeah. I mean, did you check in the next day with anybody else that went out to dinner with you guys to see if
like nobody else got sick at all, period.
Did you and your wife eat the same thing and nobody else got that?
No.
Weird.
No.
Weird.
My kids were fine. Everybody was fine.
It's extremely suspicious.
It's extremely suspicious. I don't know why that happened, and it was just like the 2 of us.
Carbon monoxide poisoning in the room.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, then it didn't affect the kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, kids are resilient,
So we didn't get to go back the next day because we thought it was like a bad idea probably to go back. So we just got in the car and drove home. And I just felt like I was.
You didn't go back to the convention at all on Sunday. You just
no, because I felt like
it.
We were kind of dragging. I ate a little something, and that helped. But I just didn't feel it would be a smart choice to go back.
I get it. Yeah.
It was a good time. It was a good time, and it was nice that it was a bit of a smaller convention. It was a perfect first convention for my kids to go to. Because, my daughter has a phone now, so if her and her brother just stay together, they went around the different vendors and everything. And they got this freeze-dried candy. They got freeze-dried Skittles, which is have all the moisture taken out of it.
What
and
do
it's
you want that for?
You eat them and it's I was saying that they are they're like Skittles but with all the fun taken out.
Yeah, I mean the chewiness is part of that's Skittles. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just not chewy at all. And
I just feel like they would just be like nerds then.
But softer actually.
Oh,
it's
right.
they basically turn to dust in your mouth.
I'd try Smarties? American Smarties, not Canadian Smarties.
Better than Smarties.
Okay.
As much as I don't mind Smarties, they're not great.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and it was also good timing because it was so close to Halloween, so there was a lot of people dressed up in Halloween and stuff like that. So it was cool.
That is cool. So, I don't know. I feel like anything I say now, how am I going to follow all of that up? But you saw, well, we already kind of referenced it. You saw I got back on the horse with, my show. And, and I'm working on the next weekend rental. And I just thought, I mean, it's just like, it never ceases to amaze me, like the video game market. And I kind of talked about it in that episode. I feel like I've been kind of just priced out of the market, like, especially with, the state of emulation these days. It's like, I'm not paying for that. But so it's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess I'm going to talk about this on the show a little bit too, but I just saw this today. The game I'm going to do this week is, I don't know if you've ever played Silent Bomber.
Yes. So that's an expensive game now.
Yeah, I got this game at a thrift store back in the day for, a couple bucks. And I just looked on eBay.
$200 now or something?
Yeah, like average price I would say for this game would be like $150, $175, and you could definitely pay more than that if you're impatient. I was just like, oh my God. It's just ridiculous, It's a good game though, too. It is.
Like that's a good choice.
Can you imagine like I want this game, I'm gonna go pay like $175 for it. I just don't get it.
Do you think that would even that's not worth it?
I can't think of, and I say this like, I mean, I've irresponsibly spent too much money on games before that I just really wanted.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even try to argue that it's worth it.
Yeah. Because I guess it changes from person to person.
Yeah.
But still, like it's just one of those games that you never see it anyplace. So
that's true. I mean, part of the reason I picked it up is I'd never heard of it, but I saw that it was published by Bandai, and I was like, oh, what's that all about? And it was like, a few dollars. So
yeah. And
I went home and played it. Was just pleasantly surprised. Oh my God, this is a fun game.
Yeah. It's even better when you have no idea that that's going to happen.
It's like when you see a movie that you know nothing about, Yeah. Like I remember when I saw Shawshank Redemption, which we've talked about before, but I didn't know anything about it. And that just made it even better. It's the same thing. It's like I had zero expectations when I loaded this game up. I'm like, oh my God, this is a really fun game.
Yeah. I had that experience when I saw with the movie Garden State.
I still haven't seen Garden State.
That's all right. That's totally fine. But I saw that movie, like I knew nothing. I'd never seen a trailer for it.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting in Union Square in New York. I just moved there.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in Union Square, and I'm like, it's like really hot out. I'm just going to go to a movie. And I'd pick that, and I loved it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh, it doesn't hold up." Like it's
isn't
like
that's got like
garbage.
Natalie Portman and the dude from Scrubs, or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a really great soundtrack.
And she's like wearing headphones on the movie poster, like what you got on there, like over the ear jobs.
Right.
Yeah. So I hate to ask this, but I have to ask. This due diligence. You happen to listen to the mixtape yet?
I've not listened to the mixtape, but listen. I'm going to do it tomorrow.
I would love to somehow express to you the amount of work that I put into that, but I'm not sure how. But it was a lot of work.
I understand. Listen, I've had.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like a interesting like.
I get it. Yep.
Not like a bad interesting, but
you said the same thing last time. You're like, oh, I'm going to listen to it tomorrow. So it's like don't.
I know.
Don't patronize me.
Well, yesterday I had to go up to my in-laws, and we did family photos.
Oh God!
Like with like the whole family, and it was like a Christmas gift for like from my wife's sister to their parents.
Yeah.
And it was like a whole thing. We had to go up and get dressed up and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Not something that we would normally do. I should have done it then. I would have listened to it yesterday.
That's fine. Like I said, you're not going to like it anyway. I decided so. So I don't even. Part of me doesn't want to bring this up, but at the same time, it's like I don't really have anybody to talk to about this stuff too much.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just. So I told you privately that my stepfather passed away, like a week and a half ago. But it was not. It was very expected and frankly overdue. Just sort of the condition that he was in.
He had been sick for a long time.
Oh, he had dementia for years. He had a bunch of strokes. So he was just in very bad, the way I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, you know, in all seriousness. And it's interesting because like his death, I think, is not, I'm not sad. My mom's not sad. It was, everything leading up to it. That's the sad part.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I like, I say that as someone with a father that is like slowly slipping into Alzheimer's. Like I have no idea like what the future will hold, and how I'm sure that at that point, like he had no idea who you were if you were to go see him or anything.
Yeah. But anyway, the reason I bring it up is just, I think sometimes, we have, whatever our family situations are, and it's normal because it's just our life, it's normal to us. But from an outside perspective, someone's like, oh yeah, that's like not normal, Like my mom and I don't have what I would consider to be a normal relationship at all, Not that we don't get along, but I mean like we don't really ever talk on the phone. She just texts me sometimes, but it's just like, oh, you believe this 49ers game? Oh yeah, I don't know what's going on, but like we never have any kind of meaningful conversations really at all. And, like when, Ken took a turn for the worse like 6 months ago, or maybe not quite that, but maybe let's say back in the spring. And I would constantly like, Mom, do you need me, can I come home? Can I help? Not even like, I didn't even frame it like, do you need me to do this? Because, a lot of times human nature is like, oh, no, but it's like, instead I framed it as like, can I come help you?
Right.
No,
like you're asking
for
permission to come.
Kinda, yeah. And it's no, I don't want you to come down here. I'm like, okay, fine. Because I don't want to be pushy, and then like Ken passes away and it's the same thing. It's like, oh, okay. Can I come down there? No, I don't want you down here. I just want to be by myself. I'm like, and I've asked multiple times. And then like last night, I asked my mom, I said, well, is there going to be like a service of any kind? No. He was very clear on that. He just wants his ashes spread up in the mountains. There's not going to be, because I mean, he's not like, I'm his stepkid. Okay, fine. Right. And then my mom was, of course, his wife. He has another adult daughter from his first marriage. And then she's married. She's been married to the same guy forever. And then they have a kid. And that's his only grandkid, who's like in his 20s or something. So it's not like there's nobody, I'm saying. And that's that, and on top of that, like, he was very active in the community where he lived, and I think that if there was a funeral, like people would come. And I get it. Like he was 95. So like a lot of his friends and contemporaries, are all, already gone, but there's plenty of people that, knew who he was or would want to come pay their respects. But they're like, no, we're not having a funeral. And I still don't want you to come down here. And it's like very frustrating for me.
Yeah.
Because then I feel guilty. But like, what else because like at one point my wife was like, maybe you should just go down there. Just show up.
Right. But would that make things worse then?
Based on what I know about my mom, I just don't think she's not just saying that she doesn't want me there. Like if I show up, I think she's going to be like, ugh.
Right. So,
but at the same time, it's just like, this was your husband. Like they've been together since I was 5. Right. And like I said to you before, it's like, I would say that he and I were maybe not as close as one might expect. But
he was there for your entire life that you can like
and we always had a good relationship. I'm not trying to say like, oh, we weren't close because there was some stuff. There was no stuff. It was just like, he was old, and I think he was from a generation where, you kept, kids sort of at arm's length a little bit, But I mean, I have lots of great memories of hanging out with him and doing stuff with him and whatnot. And it's just like, like he's gone and I can't even go home to like be with my family. And it's just, it seems very bizarre to me.
Yeah.
On top of that, I haven't seen my mom since like late 2019. And it's like, but she doesn't want me to, it's strange, right?
Yeah.
And I'm her only kid. I mean, maybe this is more personal stuff than I should talk about on the show, but I mean, I don't really care.
I know, but I think it's good. Like you want to, I think it's okay to talk about it. Do you, I mean, do you feel like there's anything that happened you can think of that would have made was there like an argument or anything that like preceded that?
No.
I mean, you don't have to.
No, I think it's just kind of how she is,
But I mean, that's a long time to not see.
That's what I think.
See your kid. I mean, I see my mom like maybe like twice a year.
Yeah. And she's down in Florida, right?
Right.
Like my mom is literally like maybe at most a 3-hour drive away. So it's not like it's a big deal for me to like drive down on a Saturday and drive home on a Sunday kind of thing, like it's not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to take time off of work to like go home for a visit. But I mean, she's never like invited me, oh, you should come home for, like she hates the holidays. So like anytime we've ever had like Thanksgiving or Christmas at her house, it's because I kind of like twisted her arm into doing it.
Yeah. I don't really know what to make of that. Like what even is the next step then? Like what happens now? Because like, I mean, in a way, like his declining condition was maybe something that you would think would have pulled you all together. Yeah. And without him there, I mean, where do things even go?
I mean,
where things go now?
I don't know. I mean, I would have thought that, because then she'll tell me, like, because we're texting, she's like, oh my God, I have so much work I have to do. I'm cleaning this stuff out, cleaning that stuff out. And I'm like, oh, why don't you let me come down there? Extra set of hands. No, I don't want you down here. Oh, all right. I
mean, have you ever just thought about asking her, why don't you want me to come down there?
No, because if I ever try to have any kind of touchy-feely conversation with her, it's like she shuts down and just doesn't want to.
She's always been like that?
Yeah.
She's not the kind of person that doesn't show a lot of love.
No.
Has never showed a lot of love.
No. In fact, I'll say, and this is also kind of a messed up thing to say, like, as it started later, it's like now, and of course I haven't seen her in like, almost 4 years. Now, like if we part ways, like she wants a hug, and it feels very weird hugging her to me because I'm not used to doing that, because before there would be none of that.
And it's almost like she is doing it because she thinks that's what she's supposed to do.
No, I'm saying she probably wants a hug, but I'm saying I'm not used to hugging my mom. And it's like, it's just, my dad's side of the family, because they're Italian, very touchy-feely.
Yeah.
Not creepy, but I'm saying, just normal, like hugging, just kissing, Italian, whatever. Yeah. But my mom, exact opposite. And it's like her side of the family, because like her parents, like my grandparents on her side, like I was very close to both of them. So you can't sort of explain it away with that. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know why I brought it up. I guess it's frustrating because then like I feel guilty because I feel like I'm not being a good son. But at the same time,
like you don't need to feel like that at all.
I don't know what to do.
It sounds like you're doing what you can.
Yeah.
To try.
But I get a lot of people in my ear
walls
when I talk about stuff like that. It's like, oh, you're not going to have your family around forever. You should be spending more time with your mom. It's like she doesn't want that.
Yeah, that is not a fair thing to say.
I had a hard time even getting like I had like one FaceTime call with her, like in the last 4 years, and mostly it was my wife that pushed for it, because it's like, can we just have like a FaceTime call with you and Ken? And that was the last time we ever saw Ken. But I had to argue with her because she's like, oh, I don't like the way I look on camera. I'm like, who cares? You're not on camera. You're having how is it any different than if I talk to you face to face?
I mean, unless she's sick in some way and she doesn't want anybody to know or doesn't want you to know.
No, I really don't think that's it.
Okay.
I mean, this is not, this behavior is not out of the realm of normalcy with her,
Okay.
So.
Well, I wish I had better insight, because it sounds really difficult. I'm sorry that like you're going through this like that. Yeah. It sounds extremely difficult and just frustrating, because you want to do something.
Yeah.
And you're doing what you can, and still it's like roundabout, like making you feel bad. Like, I mean, that doesn't seem like she wouldn't intentionally be trying to make you feel bad about something like this.
I definitely do not think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just got to be some sort of hang up that she has about something.
I mean, I've got some thoughts on things that it might be, but at the same time, like it doesn't explain everything, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, I mean, you think you could talk her into coming there?
I think she might, because my wife called her after Ken passed away, and she kind of talked about that a little bit.
Do they get along pretty, like, okay, at least, like your wife and her? As much as they can?
I would say that she loves my wife like a daughter, but I don't think the feeling is reciprocated. But I think a lot of that has to do with, like, you know, my wife sees how my mom treats me.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that is a big, you know, from my wife's side, that's like a big sort of non-starter, you know, like that's your son. How can you?
Yeah. Especially, I mean, she's probably from a family that is close. Or is she close with her family?
I mean, yes.
If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, like.
That's not my business to discuss on a podcast. So
right.
you know, yes, I'll just say
fine.
yes and no. You know, I mean, every family's got issues, right? So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see if she wants to come for Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Just you know, throw the invite out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, sometimes I think that people don't even notice when somebody's making an effort.
Yeah.
Like they don't see the effort that's being made.
Yeah.
And I think by just doing that, it's like showing like more effort.
Yeah.
Even though it's like you're saying, oh, let me come down there and help you.
Yeah.
And saying, no. But if you say, because then she's got to be the one to say like, well, I don't want to come there. You know, if you invite her, she would have to stay like, I don't want to go there. And then you could say like, well, why?
Yeah.
You know, and then that's like, then you can start to work through that issue. Like it's in a way like putting the ball in her court to give you an answer.
I agree
about what's going on.
And just, you know, now that I've said all that, just to be clear, like I know that my mom loves me. It's not, it's not like a question. It's just, I just find her behavior a bit hard to wrap my head around, you know?
Yeah. Well,
in fact, if I really thought like maybe my mom doesn't love me, then at least everything else would be understandable, you know? Mm-hmm. That's the thing that's weird is like, I don't really question that, you know, I know she loves me. I know she loves both of us. And that's why I kind of don't get the rest of her behavior.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I think that's enough of that. But so we do have two things, sort of major things, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, really quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Can I talk about something just really quick?
Please
about
do.
This very frustrating experience that I had today. I just want to talk about like how sick I am about, and this is like such a typical complaint.
I love.
So I had a package coming from FedEx.
I hate FedEx.
Yeah, you know, they're fine.
You should have FedEx packages sent to your PO box. That's what I do.
Well, this one was coming. They couldn't send it to. It was so BenQ was like sending me this this projector to do a video on.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you know, like, you know, we'll send you like the FedEx tracking number, and that was fine. It was fine, except for it was going to get delivered yesterday when I was doing that family photos thing. So I was gone all day, and it would have been fine. There's somebody, because we didn't bring our dog.
Yeah.
And
so the
like
dog
our neighbor
could have
came
signed
up
for it.
Well, the dog, like, it would have been fine if they left it on the porch.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody coming to, like, you know, hang out with the dog a little bit and could have just brought it inside. And it was fine. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I was afraid that, like, oh, like, what if it's too heavy for this person, like our neighbor, you know?
Yeah.
So FedEx allows you to do this thing where you can say, like, hold it at a facility, like a location.
Yeah, I've done that before,
like a Walgreens or whatever. Walgreens has, like, a FedEx drop-off. And so I did that, and, like, the package immediately goes into, like, limbo. It, like, stops. It stays on the truck all day.
Yep.
And I put in for it before it even was on the truck. So they should just, like, not even put it on the truck. and it just like was, so they ended up like duplicating my tracking number. So it shows up as two things with two different tracking things on it, where it goes back to the facility and then gets on another truck and goes out, and it was supposed to go to the place. Except for it doesn't even tell you like what's going on.
Yeah.
Like you refresh the tracking and it would tell you something different like every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, I needed to figure out if it was going to, I was like, I got a message on my phone saying it was at the Walgreens for pickup. I go there, it's not there.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, I call FedEx, and they're like, oh, we sent you, like the automated AI thing says, oh, we sent you a text message regarding, this package. Is that what you're calling about? I said, yes. And it was like, it takes you to this whole thing. It's like, there's no further information. And I'm like, customer representative. A customer representative would not be able to give you any further information. Goodbye.
Wow, you're getting cock blocked by the...
Like, no, seriously, like I spent so long trying to talk to an actual person. Like I called back like 17 times, like trying different combinations of things.
Yeah.
And I was just like, every time I was like, just let me talk to somebody.
Yeah.
A customer service representative would not be able to give you any more information than we've already given you. Like, I just want to be able to tell somebody like, hey, it's somewhere out there. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Just like, do you have any, like, have you experienced this before? Like, what kind of advice can you give me? And it took me, I was getting so pissed off.
Yeah.
And I feel as though the AI knows when you're annoyed.
Oh, I'll do that on purpose sometimes. Even if I'm not that annoyed, I'll get all Karen on the phone. Because I think you're right. I think they've got stuff in there where like, oh man, this person's pissed.
But the thing is when I was getting pissed, it was like got me off the phone even faster.
Oh, it was like they're trying to protect their employees, I guess.
And I don't get pissed about that stuff. I was just like, I had to go online and like I went on Reddit and said like, how do I talk? Like I just like did a search for like how to talk to like an actual human being at FedEx.
Yeah.
And there's people that have all these like list of things you could do. And like none of them worked. The only thing that finally worked that I saw like when I scrolled down really, really far was you got to call them, ask for the main menu, and then you got to say, I'm returning a call.
Oh.
And then it will connect into a representative.
Wow. But then you probably get in trouble for being a liar.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I told the person, the customer representative, I was like, I'm sorry. Like I just needed to talk to a person and see if somebody could help me figure this out because I've just spent like the last like hour and a half trying to talk to a person.
Yeah.
And I'm so annoyed.
Yeah.
That, like this, like just like let us talk to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you ask to talk to somebody, you should get to talk to somebody.
So what ended up happening anyway?
So they just said, "Oh, it's at the location."
Yeah, but you said no, it's not.
At the drop off.
You said
I'm
no.
like, but it's not. It's not. Like, oh no, like, essentially told me to go back and ask again.
What?
Yeah, but but the thing is like I eventually I waited 3 hours.
Yeah. And
they had like a second drop off.
Oh, all right.
But even though it said that it was dropped off 3 hours earlier, it was not there.
Okay.
But the second drop off, it was there.
Oh, well, that's good. So at least you got it.
At least I got it.
But yes, that sounds extremely, extremely annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like.
Hey, in the future, have your FedEx packages shipped to your PO box. That's the thing the post office does.
Like a lot of PO boxes won't accept it. Like when I asked them if they could send this to the PO box. They were like, we can't send it to a PO box.
No.
When it's something like a certain size,
you have to ask you have to ask at the post office if they do that. Because like for me, like it's not because that's how I got my router, not internet, woodworking.
Right.
Is the post office themselves give you a different address format to use if you're getting something from UPS or FedEx, where you put the street address of the post office.
Okay.
And then it's sort of like your apartment number, you put your PO box number. Like one day,
interesting.
Like someone said that to me and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then like a little while later, I got a letter or whatever, a little flyer in my post office box from the post office saying, hey, you can have FedEx and UPS stuff shipped here. Here's how to format your address. Because most of these places, they have like a formatting thing where it's like, if you try typing a P.O. box, like, oh, we don't ship to P.O. boxes. But the post office helps you game the system so that you can still have that stuff shipped to them.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask that next time I go to the post office.
Just because I have the same, it's annoying because, like, I get stuff, even the router, I mean, it's not that expensive. I don't want it sitting on my porch. And so, then I'll go through the same rigmarole you just did. Oh, let me have it sent to a FedEx location. Then I'm stressed out about it. Now it's like, no, it goes to the post office and then I don't care, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it was anything else, I would have been fine with it. But this is something I was kind of, like, I'm excited to use it.
I get it.
All right. Sorry, I had that on my list because that was like a huge chunk of my day.
No.
And I just wanted to talk about it because.
So, okay, I think this will provide a nice segue. Do you have the jingle queued up?
I do. All right.
I'm going to
send it through. Hopefully it's
to pick the
going to
one.
work.
Okay.
Does he slap? 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 Should be eaten.
Oh man, I think you might have dropped your projector. It sounds like the lens shattered.
Yes, I mean something definitely broke.
All right.
I'm a little nervous to see what it was. So.
Yeah. All right. So this is very exciting. This is a third party. Does it slap or should we eat it? That has been submitted via email, not by just anyone, but by Mr. Alex Mort of the Retro Game Squad podcast, my personal favorite podcast.
All right.
It's like number one, Retro Game Squad. Number two, here's my question for you. All right. So he says, hello, Chris and Corey. Just wanted to drop a line, say I've been enjoying the show. Thanks for keeping me entertained during my commutes. And then puts in some filler text. He says, though this is about food, sort of. So that's apologies to you, I guess. I offer you a slap or eat submission for your consideration. This is pertaining to cold beverages, which I have very strong opinions on.
Okay.
Which of these slaps and which should be yeeted? Number one, ice. Number two, a citrus wedge. Lemon, lime, orange, I guess, depends on situational, Number three, drinking glasses or mugs, steins, etc. So I guess you'd have to always drink out of the container that it came in. No filling up a glass with ice and pouring some Coke in there.
How do you get ice into the...
What?
I mean, you'd have to figure out a way to get ice into the bottles then. You can't have it if you got to...
You can do that.
Yeah.
So ice, citrus wedge, drinking glass.
Right. I feel the citrus wedge is an easy yeet.
Oh, I agree.
Because it's, I like it.
I mean,
I like them in certain things.
Like a light beer, like a Corona Light or something on a real hot day with a lemon wedge in it. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Or like a Dos Equis. It's good with it.
If you want to get fancy, sure. I get the Trader.
I mean, I had that like when I was in Corpus Christi.
I get the Trader Jose's. If you ever had that. It's like this.
No,
it's like Trader Joe's knockoff Corona.
Okay. Trader Jose. I like that.
Trader Jose's,
I like that name. But like the mug aspect. I mean, so it's.
I feel like that's a hard one because I don't understand, like, just logistically.
Yeah, if it was like frosted cups or whatever,
how am I
I'd be
drink
like, okay,
hot coffee? What's that going to go in? Like, if I make myself a coffee, what am I pouring it into?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. He says specifically, this is pertaining to cold beverages, including alcoholic beverages. All right, makes sense.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel as though I would have to keep I'd have to keep cups, like glasses and cups and stuff like that. Just because I think that I could go without ice if I needed to, but it would be a pain in the butt to not be able to use cups for certain things.
All right.
Although, most of the time, I'm like drinking pop and the beer like out of the bottle or cans. most of the time.
Well, that's his point. Is you'd have to just drink all this stuff out of the vessel in which it came served to you.
But then it would get rid of like fountain drinks are great.
Yeah, fountain drinks are amazing.
But would a fountain drink be
But
nearly
how are
as
you
good
if you don't
without
have
ice?
But if you don't have a drinking glass anymore, I mean, you said this already, but then I don't understand how you're going to use ice. If I say I'm keeping ice, but I don't have number 3 anymore, then how am I using the ice? I don't get it, I guess.
Right.
Because does that mean can I not get a fountain drink? Because that comes in a cup, which is a drinking.
Right. Are they filling up in a bottle?
I mean, he says drinking glasses or mugs / steins. He doesn't say cups. So is that, I mean, am I splitting hairs or is that, I wish he was here to ask.
Yeah.
You know, he's somebody I always keep in mind. I've never asked him, but I want to. Like, you know, in a week, you know, or whatever, when you can't do the show and I still want to do the show, like my default go-to is always just Greg. Like, I'll only just ask Greg. Mm-hmm. But Alex would be somebody else I think I could do the show with. I think he could just drop right in.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I think it'd be really fun to have more people on that, like one of us does not know at all. Like, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
that would lead more to like the hanging out at a bar type feel of this podcast.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, hey, this is my friend so and so. We were just doing this thing and like we were just out and like we ran into you. Like we just met up with you at this bar. Yeah. So like if you have somebody in mind, you should just have them on. And
well, I mean, that'd be a good example. I mean, I'd say, you know, Alex and I are pretty good friends. I mean, talk on the phone, text, that kind of stuff. Like do
you walkie-talkie on your watch with him?
No, I don't actually know if he has an Apple Watch. So,
but I think that I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah. Anyway, my final answer is I'm never going to say no to ice. I love ice. It's the greatest thing ever. Like, whether it's ice water or soda or anything in ice. Like I said, I don't really understand how number 3 factors into it. Can I still use a paper cup? Because otherwise, how am I using the ice? I'm not really sure. But just since number 3 for me is
the little ketchup or the little Dixie cups.
Hey, whatever, man. Do you know how hard it is now to find Dixie cups?
Probably. Like,
holy crap! Like, so I have this stuff I have to use on my house. It's this thing to treat wood. It's this marine liquid epoxy, right? But it comes in 2 bottles or 2 cans, and you have to mix it in equal proportions.
Clap your hands.
No, you mix it in equal.
Bottles and cans. Clap your hands.
Yeah, no, I get it. Thank you. I get it. You mix it in equal proportions, then you use an applicator to brush it onto the wood, right? But you can't. It's insolvent. You can't put it in a plastic cup necessarily. You might eat the cup, you know. So I was running around trying to find where can I get some paper cups. Not as easy as you might think. You know, supposedly we live in a world where we should quit using single-use plastics, but where'd the paper cups go? Finally found some. Anyway.
I always think of that, like how Jason Lee's character Brody, Brody Bruce is carrying on that little Dixie cup in Mallrats, and I like when he goes, he's like, "Can you fill us with Coke, no ice?"
No ice. Yeah. That always just reminds me of, like, you know, when I was in like high school, my best friend's dad was literally the like most miserly person you'll ever meet. Like, I've never met anybody this cheap in my life, but. I mean, he did it because he really didn't make very much money at all. I mean, he lived certainly below the poverty line, but he owned his own house. He was a bachelor. He made it work. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not wasting money on stuff I don't have to waste money on, because that allows me to live this lifestyle where I work as little as possible at a job that I hate so that I can dedicate myself to the things that, you know, I enjoy doing, you know. Mm-hmm. But, a popular place for us to go, because he was a weird guy, and he and his son, who was my friend, had a kind of a weird relationship, but I mean, they got along and hung out. And one of the things they would do is they'd go meet up for dinner or something. And I would often get invited along. I'd come along, and a popular destination was In-N-Out Burger. Okay. But he would save, he had been using the same paper cup. Like, he would use them until they were completely like worn out, like it wouldn't hold liquid anymore. And then begrudgingly, he'd have to buy a new soda just so he could get a new cup. But he'd keep bringing it back as many times as he could. So he didn't have to pay for a soda. Because that's like, you know, that's how he cut corners, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Dang.
And I mean, his house was like the most run down, but it was a roof and 4 walls. So, and again, the guy did not work very many hours, so he made it work. I had to you have to take your hat off to that,
Yeah. That complete commitment.
And it's not like he was lazy. He was like an artistic guy that he wanted to he dedicated all of his time to like writing and whatnot, even though he didn't make enough money off of it to even come close to living off of it, but he did it, right? This is what I'm doing. I'm not going to spend, because like I look at like myself, I could have a much higher creative output if I didn't have to deal with my job every day. And so, but I also have a standard of living that I want to maintain. But, he was willing to sort of like eschew all of the trappings of a normal life to say, well, if this means I don't have to work, then anyway. All right.
May as well. I'm gonna keep the cup as well. But I mean,
okay. I mean, some people are not as big into ice. That's okay.
I love ice. I especially love it. I like that little like the softer kind of like the ice that Pizza Hut had.
I think Sonic. Do you guys have Sonic there?
Yeah, but I've only been.
You should go.
Twice.
Like Sonic apparently is famous for their ice.
Okay, so it's probably just like the smaller.
Yes, it's the little balls of ice that are kind of a little on the soft side. Like chewable.
Love that kind of stuff.
You should go. My neighbor next door.
Has a.
He's an interesting fellow. He's semi-recently retired. I'd say he's in his mid-60s.
Yeah,
he goes to Sonic all the time, and just for soda, he just goes and gets like a lemon Coke.
Dang,
because he just loves it. I mean, we have a Sonic not too far from here. But.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so now after an hour and 21 minutes. We can get to what I think in some ways is the main event of this episode.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this was originally your idea.
It was, because I just think it's fun to do.
But I think
we had such a good time with.
You had mentioned it on the show, I think. Oh, we should do this.
Yes.
And then just this morning in my Discord, somebody brought it up.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the same guy that says, please don't say the track numbers. Is that Josh? Is that guy?
Okay, so I'm going to have you kind of like host this one.
And he posted the list, his list, which I found his list a little bit disturbing, but not disturbing. I don't agree with it.
Okay, well, so I think that the way that we did this before, where we started from the first song on the album.
Yeah.
And just go through all the songs in their order, and then we just say what we.
Yeah, I don't see the point in doing that.
You want to start from the like.
What?
I just thought it made sense because we could go through the orders of like the actual song order, and then we say, "Oh, I rank this one as this," like we did last time. You didn't like the way that we did it last time?
I just think I should talk about. I'll just do my number one song. You do your number one song. I'll do my number two song. You do your number two song.
Okay.
Is that what we did last time? You said like, oh, the first song is Airbag, and then like I said where I had Airbag, and you said where you had Airbag. Is that how we did it? I just don't. I don't remember. That just seems
that's how we did it before.
That seems confusing to me.
Okay. Then
I'm confused right now just thinking about it.
All right.
Sorry. No offense.
That's okay.
Okay. So I guess just the only thing I'm going to say real quick. So we're doing, in case we didn't make that clear, I guess. We're doing Postal Service's only album, Give Up. Postal Service, of course, frontman Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie, along with Jimmy Tamborello, Jenny Lewis, and Jen Wood for one song. Okay, so 10 tracks on the album, and so we're each going to have a list of 10 songs, hopefully not in too similar of an order. And I'm going to let you go since I had to do the hosting. I'm going to let you go first with what's your number one favorite song, Postal Service's Give Up 2003, Sub Pop Records.
I spent a long time thinking about what I wanted to start with, and I was like, God, it's just like I almost feel like a poser if I picked Such Great Heights as the number one song on the album.
Yeah.
But I'm like, thought about what else I would want to pick as number one.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I can't do it. Like, I feel like that is easily is Such Great Heights is the best song on the album.
Yeah.
and its popularity is deserved.
Yeah.
And because I think that it is the best song on the album, and it's just
Okay.
It still is great.
Yeah. I mean, that song was all over the radio. I mean,
yeah. And as many good songs as there is on this album, I still think that is the best
yeah. Okay.
song on it.
Okay. Okay, so before I give my list real quick, I'm just going to say this real fast. Okay. I kind of feel like this, for me, this album, there's like two categories of song.
Mm-hmm.
There's the songs that, in my opinion, are just outstanding.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of songs that are like just good.
Yeah.
It's the same for me as like OK Computer. Like they're all good. Like there's not a bad song on here, but to me there's 8 songs that are just unimpeachably excellent songs. Yes. And there's a couple songs on here that if they disappeared, I wouldn't be crying too much.
And literally
into my
just
soup.
a couple of songs. Like 2 songs.
Literally, for me, it's literally 2 songs.
Yeah.
So my number one song is not the same as yours. Sorry.
That's okay.
I want to say this is like a little bit of a I don't know if it's not a caveat. I don't know what you call it. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm too cool for school or anything, but this album came out in 2003. I feel like I wasn't hearing such great heights on the radio until like the second half of 2004. And I'd have to go back and look. Maybe I wasn't listening to the right radio station. But I'm saying, like, for me, I remember the apartment we moved into in the fall of 2004. And I remember the radio station I started listening to at that time. And I just remember it's a great radio station. They're not around anymore. But nonstop, they were playing Such Great Heights, and they were playing Float On from Modest Mouse, like right around the same time. But so before that, I wasn't hearing any of this stuff on the radio. So I don't feel like my perception of the album is kind of colored by, like, to me, Such Great Heights was just another song on the album, a good one. But I'm saying, like, you know, if I had been somebody that bought the album because I heard that song on the radio, I think I would have a different thought about it.
To be clear, like, I bought this album like in, I want to say December, maybe January of 2004.
All right, I'm not trying.
Like, I just moved to New York.
It's not a competition about like our.
No, I know.
Chops.
The thing is that then I hadn't heard anything else.
Okay.
I hadn't even heard Death Cab.
Oh my God! All right.
At that point,
Yeah.
So, I remember listening to it from the top.
Yeah.
And like Such Great Heights, like definitely like hit.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's a good song.
I mean, as you'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
what? I haven't even given my number one song yet.
I know.
Well, you were getting ready to talk. It seems like you were getting ready to just roll out of there with number 2. That's what it looked like. And you should calm down.
No, I was going to say, well, what is your number
hair
one?
trigger? My number one song is District Sleeps Alone Tonight. I think it's such an awesome opening track. And like, to me, because, you know, I always listen to this. I listen to the album. This is not the kind of, it's the same thing with Transatlanticism. I put on this album. I listen to the album. And so when I hear the opening, whatever that synth sound is, the beginning of that song, like, it immediately takes me back to that time. And like,
yes,
I think it's the best song on the album. But that being said, I don't know, man. At least the first 6 songs on my list could all be number 1. That's how close I think they're packed in there. They're so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my pick. District Sleeps Alone Tonight.
Yeah. Well, if it's any consolation, I had that as my number 2.
All right. Do you have anything you want to say about it?
Well, I feel is like any song that Jenny Lewis is on is immediately elevated.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever listened to her band, Rilo Kiley?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and also like the stuff she did with the Watson twins.
Yeah.
Like like Jenny Lewis and the Watson twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, should I go then?
Yeah.
My number
go for
2?
it.
All right, now this, I feel like my number 2 is going to be a little bit spicy. I think this is going to be a very unpopular opinion. In fact, the guy, Josh, Discord guy, I told you, he posted his list. Anyway, I don't agree with his order anyway, but I think if you were to really understand my musical tastes, which probably nobody actually does because I don't talk about it enough, but I think it's very predictable. My number 2 song is Natural Anthem.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I love that
That's-
song because, like, it's not a normal song, and that's the kind of music, you know, it's chaotic. It doesn't follow the formula. It doesn't have here 2 verses, a chorus, another verse, a chorus, and then the outro. It's like, I love that song so much.
See,
And-
I can't say where I have it, but
I mentioned this to, I was down there this morning before work. I stopped in to Armadillo Music, 207 F Street, downtown Davis, and I was talking to Nick, and I mentioned that Natural Anthem, and he went, this is what he said verbatim. He goes, dude, that song is sick. So there you go. Me and Nick on the same page. I love that song.
Okay.
Love it.
I mean, I like the song a lot.
Yeah.
I had a real hard time like where I put it because
It makes me, I wish I could play the drums. Listen to that song. I wish I could play the drums.
That's the thing. I feel like I love like the whatever, like the sample that they use, you know?
Yeah.
And I just feel like it goes on for too long and it's too crazy.
That's why I like it.
See, I feel like if the song was, you know, like 2 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
I feel
That,
as
when I
though
saw him in
would like
concert, for that song, if I remember correctly, I don't remember his name, sorry, the drummer from Death Cab had to come out and play that. Because remember I mentioned last time that Ben Gibbard was playing a lot of drums during the Postal Service. That's beyond his skill level, I guess. All right, number 3 from Coury.
For number 3, I picked "We Will Become Silhouettes."
Okay, all right.
I like that song a lot. It has a really good music video.
It's a good song.
I don't recall like exactly what the music video is like. I just remember people running through a field.
Yeah.
But you know, like I love the beginning of that song.
Yeah.
Just musically, you know, it's a great song too.
Yeah. Number 3 for me might also be I mean, nothing like number 2 was, but I don't know if this would be a popular choice. My number 3 is Brand New Colony. Although I'll say that, I mean, I think it's a product of its time. I don't care for sort of that main riff, that sort of that 8-bit style, like octave sound. But I think, you know, that was something that was popular at that time.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree. I
guess it's probably the hook. I guess I'd call that the hook in the song, which it's fine, but I'm saying, but other than that, I love that song. And I don't hate that. It's just like, it feels a little dated.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my 3. What's your...
For my 4?
Yeah.
My number 4 is Clark Gable.
Okay. Anything you want to...
I mean, it's... I will admit that like leading into this, like I didn't re-listen to the album as many times as I did when I was listening to OK Computer.
Yeah.
And it's not for like a lack of trying. It's just that I think I listened to it twice in a row when we were driving down to Nashville.
All right. Well, that's recent. It's good.
Yeah. And, you know, just kind of going through and when I was like picking things today, I mean, like I've listened to the album a ton, but I don't have like as close of like the intimate knowledge as I had with OK Computer.
That's fine.
So I might not have nearly as much to say about certain tracks, but
that's fine. I'm just trying to give you. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the platform to say what you need to say, and I'm not like cutting you off and going into my own stuff. All right, my number 4 is Recycled Air.
Oh, okay.
And I think the video's on YouTube. Like, there's a radio station up in Seattle. I think it's KEXP.
Mm-hmm.
And they did this thing. I don't know if they probably do this with other artists, but they had Ben Gibbard on. And, you know, it's something they record to have on the radio, but they also film it for video use. And it was just like this, you know, lady who's, I guess, an on-air personality at KEXP interviewing Ben Gibbard, but then also people from the audience could write down song requests on pieces of paper, and they put them all in a bowl. And like he had, it was just him, but he had his guitar and he had a piano, and he would reach into the bowl, or she would reach into a bowl and pick out a song and be like, okay, you got to play.
Wow.
Like they would talk, she would ask him a couple questions, like, okay, it's time for the next song, and just pick out a song and like, okay, Bob requested whatever.
That sounds really, really tough to do that.
I mean, he was fine with it, but anyway, so one of the songs someone requested was Recycled Air, and I forgot who it was. I want to say it was Liz Phair that he referenced. He said basically like somebody else had written this song that he thought was really beautiful about riding in an airplane, and he wanted to write a song like that. And so he said, like, Jimmy Tamborello had written all of the music for that song, and so he just had to write the lyrics. And so he wrote what I think is a beautiful song about just, riding in an airplane.
Yeah.
And like for me, as someone that's flown back and forth across the country multiple times, just the imagery in that song, I watch the patchwork farm slow fade into the ocean's arms. Up here, they can't see me stare. 'Cause that's like, normally I was flying by myself because it was for work, and so I didn't have anybody to talk to, and I would just sit there. I would have earphones in, just sort of staring out the window and just sort of watching, as he says, the patchwork of farms, sort of slowly drifting by. And so I just think that's a really, really cool song for that reason.
Yeah. Well, that was my number 5.
All right.
So that works. Really quick though, I do want to get a feel for like where are you at on Liz Phair? You like Liz Phair?
I don't know enough about. I haven't listened to her enough to have an opinion.
Okay. I like her a lot.
Yeah. Well, if somebody were to send me like a Liz Phair mixtape or something, pretty good chance I'd listen to it.
Well, I mean, like her opinion on like her like later output, like post like first album is can vary wildly.
Right. And it might not have been Liz Phair that he referenced, I think, but I don't remember. I'm not 100% on that. Okay,
well,
so
I
you
think
said
that Liz Phair's first 3 albums are great, and the 4th one has moments that it's really great. It's like pop of the era.
Okay. Well, I will check out some of her early stuff. Okay, so you said your number 5 is Recycled Air. So Jeff, anything you wanted to say about that before I give my 5?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, in the same vein, my number 5 is Such Great Heights. So
Okay.
And I don't have anything more to say about that. It's a great song. I've listened to it so many times that it's just like, it's kind of lost its, just from overexposure. It's just like, I don't get the, same feeling listening to that song anymore, just because it's, it's like today I ate meatloaf today for like the 5th day in a row. After a while, it's like, listen, I love meatloaf, love it. But at some point, it's like, I'm ready to move on.
If there was a bathroom break during the show, like that's where you would have gone. If you went to see Postal Service again, and you really had to pee, you'd probably wait for that song to go.
I would hold it. I don't.
Okay.
Like, there's no way.
For me, that's like,
I don't understand.
Like Everybody
people,
Hurts, or
I saw that like when I was at the concert, people would like get up and like, oh, we get a beer or something. While the band is playing, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I understand that. But if you
had ample time to get a beer between sets.
Yeah.
I mean, if your back teeth are floating, you got to do what you got to do. I get it.
What does that mean?
Like, you got to pee real bad. Your back teeth are floating. Like you're so full of pee, I guess. It's like coming up your throat. Your back teeth are floating. You never heard that?
No, I've never heard that.
Well, you've never heard about, I got to go snap one off real quick either. So
no, I use it all the time. I always
good. I'm glad
say
to
my
that.
dog, you need to go out and snap one off.
Yeah.
All right. So number 6.
6, yes.
I have Sleeping In.
Okay.
That is a great song. And, it's spoiling my next one because like I like during the course of this conversation, I switched the places of Sleeping In and Nothing Better.
Oh, wow. All right.
Like during the course of this conversation.
Okay. I switched 2 of these, but it was right before we started.
Okay.
I'll talk about that when we get to it. It's okay. So anything else to say? Sleeping In? Just like that one?
No, it's just
okay.
I feel like the lyrics are like some of the most memorable on the album. I think it's just for
All right. My number 6 is "We Will Become Silhouettes."
Okay.
I don't know that I have anything really to say about it. It's a great song. That's it. I don't know. I'm still, by the way, I'm still in my list of like any of these could have been a number 1 song. These are all excellent songs. I got nothing interesting to say about "We Will Become Silhouettes."
I mean, there's only one that is not a number 1
well,
song.
and we all know which one that is. Anyway.
So I thought it's going to be the same for both of us.
I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so and 7, I had Nothing Better.
Oh, okay.
Which is, like I had Sleeping In It at 7 and Nothing Better at 6 before.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, you demoted it. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just swapped them, but I mean I don't know. I think that I almost felt bad putting them so low, but it's like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
So
for me, I think these next 2 songs, for me, 7 and 8 are both really good songs, but neither one, like 1 through 6, I'm saying any one of those could have been the number 1 song for me. 7 and 8 are still excellent songs, but they're not in striking distance of number 1, if that makes sense. And then my 9 and 10 are the ones that are just like, yeah, those are fine.
Okay.
So my number 7 is "This Place Is a Prison."
Oh, okay.
So I really like that song. I like the lyrics of that. I mean, musically, the song is, there's not a whole lot going on musically, really, but I mean, the imagery and the lyrics, I appreciate. I think it's relatable.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
All right.
We're up to your 8.
My number 8 is I have Brand New Colony.
Okay.
As at 8.
Yeah.
And it's true, like I think that I liked it more a long time ago, but now like that kind of chiptune sound to it, the beginning of it, it's like, oh, it's not as like new and novel as it was then when I first heard it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like,
yeah.
Like it's still a great song, but it doesn't hit the same way.
Yeah. Like it's not their fault, but that, as you put it, that's an excellent way to put it. Chiptune sound. It's a little played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. So my number 8 is "Nothing Better."
Okay.
Still an excellent song. I think lyrically that song just kind of hits a little bit of a raw nerve for me. And so I think, going all the way back to, when I first heard it, I think I have mixed feelings when I listen to it, because I think that song makes me sort of feel more things than I would like to, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
Interesting kind of aside about that, though. It's a great song, and it's this great duet, right? Where like, here's this guy who sort of sees his future slipping away, right? This is a guy he thought, I'm going to marry this woman. This is who I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Now he's being dumped, and he's trying to convince her not to go, right? Mm-hmm. And, she's singing her half, explaining why she's leaving, but she does so in a way that I would say is she feels bad that she's doing this to him, but she has to move on, right? And so she's singing it in sort of a somber way. It's like, I'm sorry that I'm sorry that I'm breaking your heart, but this is what I have to do, right? We don't belong together, or whatever. Yeah. And I went and watched a couple of YouTube videos just to see if if this was a consistent thing. The way she sings that song live is like very, very different. Like her attitude.
In a good way?
No. Like he's still singing it the same way, but she sings it in this way where there's this glibness to her voice where it's almost like she's breaking up with this loser. Like, I don't feel sorry for you. I'm kind of looking down on you. Maybe you cheated on me. Maybe you're still living on your parents' couch. And she's almost, while she's singing it, she's kind of playing to the ladies in the audience of like, oh, well, I'm dumping this loser boyfriend of mine who only now sees my value and is trying to get me not to go. It really changes. The lyrics are all the same, but the way she sings it and her body language is like a complete 180 to the way it is on the album, and it really kills it. And it's the only, to the point where I'm like, is that not the same woman singing? And it's like, no, it's still Jen Wood. And I'm like, what are you doing? Really
She's
didn't care
killing
for
the
it.
song, right?
In my
Killing
opinion,
the narrative, I
yes.
guess.
Yes.
Huh.
Anyway.
I could probably watch a video of it. I should see, because that is torpedoing the song like unintentionally, like, or maybe it's intentional on her part for something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, you're number 9.
Number 9 is a national anthem.
Oh, all right. I thought that was going to go down I thought that was going to be in the basement for you. So I'm glad that it's at least at number 9.
Yeah.
Although
like
I know what's in your number 10, process of elimination.
Right. I mean, I think it's a good song. I just wish that, and you know what? I probably liked it more years ago. And now it's just kind of like, all right, we're just like layering this stuff on top of each other, and just, it's like kind of like, because when he starts singing, and it kind of like,
but
like,
see, that's part of what makes it great.
It's building point, and then
it builds up to this crescendo, and then the drums just sort of drop, like, to where now instead it's almost like he starts playing with brushes instead of normal sticks, because it goes down, and then Ben Gibbard's voice,
right,
comes in there, and just he just does the 2 quick verses. Mm-hmm. That's part of what I like about just the juxtaposition of, like, you have this insanity that just drops out, and Ben Gibbard's voice is like the opposite of insanity. I don't know. Right. I'm not trying to change your mind. I guess I'm just trying to.
That's
I'm trying to justify
but I do
my
feel
own
like
opinion.
like the sample, like the main sample of the song.
Yeah.
Like it makes the song.
Yeah.
It's just like immediately.
Yeah.
Catchy, and I like listening to it. I just wish that now I'm listening to it, I'm like, I wish that they had done something a little bit different with it.
Sure.
But
yeah.
But I ain't hating on it or anything like that.
I know.
I still think it's great.
They're all great songs, damn it.
Yes.
Yes. It's a very difficult list to make. That being said, my number 9 is Clark Gable, and that is the change that I made. I had Clark Gable at 10, and I boosted it up to 9 because I was listening to it just completely coincidentally. That's the CD in my CD player in my car right now. And so I got in the car on the way home, and Clark, here's my thing with Clark Gable. I strongly dislike, we'll say, the verses, especially the first verse. I hate it. But
yeah,
the chorus is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess the lyrics are like they do come off as a little like cheesy.
Yeah, it's a little stupid, I think. Just the verse. But then the chorus comes in and it's like, "Oh my god, this is awesome."
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying, like, one of the strongest things about, Ben Gibbard work is the lyrics, and so, like, I'm comparing him against himself, I guess. I'm saying compared to a lot of the stuff that he's written.
Like he was trying to do something different though this time. And
yeah, it's fine. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't think who am I to even say that? I'm just saying, like, the lyrics of that song don't click with me verse wise. That being said, the chorus that I like. So
yeah, I get it.
Anyway, so that's my number 9.
All right. I know what your number 10 is based on process
you're
of
very
elimination.
Very smart person.
So my number 10 was Place of the Prison.
Yeah.
And that's I feel like if I'm going to skip anything, like that's the one I'm going to skip. It just feels like too, and it's a necessary down note in a like a pretty like happy sounding album, I guess. Just feels like
sometimes
I don't
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, with that song, I just like, I think it's relatable. It's like how many of us have not gone through a period where maybe we were taking a little bit too much of this or that, whether drinking too much or, you with your vaping and gummies.
I'm not doing that too much.
Well, that's all subjective, isn't it? So anyway, I'm just saying, like, I find it's like it's like listening to Never Let Me Down Again by Depeche Mode. It's just like, you know what? Sometimes that's how I'm feeling. You know, sometimes I just want to like come home and drink enough to take the edge off for whatever reason, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about This Place Is a Prison. Although that's, you know, that seems like someone who's an alcoholic. Me.
So I have to say, like, I mean, let's just go ahead and get your
my 10 is Sleeping In. I think, you know, whatever I said about the lyrics on Clark Gable, I really hate the lyrics. That's I'll say. I don't care for the tone of the lyrics of Clark Gable. I think the lyrics in Sleeping In I dislike much more intensely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Musically, I like it. The chorus is nice. The music is nice. Like I said, they're all good songs, but like, you know, I guess I don't find it really, I don't understand what he's trying to say even. And so maybe that's my fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Perhaps. I mean, I guess I just look at it
what's
like
he talking about? I guess I don't get it. What's he
on a surface level, you know? It has a very comfy feel to that song for me.
Yeah, like I said, musically it's a good song. I'm just saying lyrically, I'm like I don't understand.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd say even that's the only song where it went over my head. The lyrics go over my head in that song. I just think, why are you talking about? What's the Kennedy assassination have to do with anything? I don't get it.
That's true. That's true. So, just for the fun of it, do you have the person in your Discord's list on hand that you could? I
mean, I could pull it up in.
You don't need to. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting this here.
Mere seconds.
All right.
Here it is. Okay. So I just blast through it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what I thought was funny is just like, it seems like him and I have opposite tastes. He had Clark Gable at number 1. Although again, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, the chorus of that song is really good. So, Such Great Heights, number 2, We'll Become Silhouettes, number 3, DC Sleeps Alone Tonight, number 4, Nothing Better, 5, Sleeping In, 6, Recycled Air, 7, Brand New Colony, 8, This Place Is a Prison, 9, and then he has Natural Anthem at 10. And I think I found that surprising only because like I know Josh is a fan of The Prodigy.
Okay.
And so
that would make sense.
And so I think that's one of the reasons I like Natural Anthem is it almost sounds like it's got, you know, it's got a sort of a big beat kind of sound to it.
Like a trip hop type.
Is that maybe a little bit less bass, but so I guess I'm surprised, but you know, I'll say this, like that song is very, I don't want to say it's out of place, but it's an outlier musically on that album. It does not sound at all like the other 9 songs. That doesn't bother me, but I could see where somebody says like, what is,
and it's like twice as long as like, or
what is
like
this
significantly
doing here,
longer than anything else too, I think. Yeah.
Does it have the run times? Because he just took a picture. He made a playlist, took a picture, but yeah, it's not on.
But that's cool. That's cool though. So, I mean, his list is closer to mine.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the only thing I just thought it was mostly his number 1 and his number 10 that I just like. I'm not taking issue with it. It's just people have their own taste, but for him and mine, it's almost flipped. Because like, you know, his 1 is my 9 and his 10 is my 2.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but the rest of the songs, they're all good, and so like, oh, you have this at number 4 instead of number 2, like that's a meaningless argument.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna re-listen to the album with your order in mind, just to see how it goes.
If you want, I think you should listen to the album in the order in which it is presented. But
yeah, we'll have to think about what we want to do for another one of these. I think they're just fun to do.
Yeah,
I was listening to, what else did I listen to on the drive down? How do you feel about Garbage?
I love Garbage.
Like Garbage?
Yeah.
Would you have any interest in either doing one of ranking all the songs on one of their first 2 albums, on either of their first
because you know
they're self-titled or?
Here's my only issue with doing that. It's not an issue, but my concern, I guess, with doing that is, you know, Garbage for me is one of those bands where like I love all their hits.
Right. Okay.
But you know, I've never been somebody that's like, I'm going to put on a Garbage album and listen to the whole thing, and so I feel like, you know. I'm happy to do it, but I'm saying I'm going to have a really hard time not heavily favoring the songs that like I'm used to and that I've enjoyed listening to, and I feel like that's going to make my list seem kind of basic.
Okay, so that's okay. I think that what is cool about this is that we pick albums that we like have listened to like the whole thing, like a lot. So I'll have to put something in the back of my mind and figure out what.
Okay.
If we just, if you think of anything, where you're like, oh, I love this entire album.
Yeah.
How would you rank this?
Yeah.
So I think that, just because we don't pick an album today.
I mean, I don't know. Would it be interesting? Like if there was an album that one of us was like very familiar with, but the other person was not at all.
That
would be interesting because like for you, it's like, well, I'm hearing all of this for the first time.
Yeah.
So this is what I think, versus the other person who's like, I've got a lot of preconceived notions about that album.
I think it's got to be something that we're at least have listened to.
Yeah.
And know that we like them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be the whole thing. I like the idea of like, oh, I've only listened to this like a couple of times before.
Yeah.
So maybe in that case, like Garbage's first album.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Would be a good one, I think.
It's an excuse to listen to
because I think their first one is better. Like I like their second one a lot.
Yeah.
But their first one definitely has a harder edge to it.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, at this point, we're butting up against 2 hours. So
we are. That's okay though. That's all right. We did it. We covered all the topics.
Yes.
Got a slap of yeet in there, and even went through all this entire album. And sometimes when we haven't uploaded every single week, we can put a little bit extra in there.
Oh yeah, I'm not complaining.
But I think that'll do it.
Yes.
Everyone have a wonderful week. I say at the end of every live stream. I just can't help myself from doing it.
I just kind of thought it was like your little tagline. I always wait for you to say it at the end of the episode. It's like, well, we're not going to stop recording until Coury tells everybody to have a good week.
Yeah. Or I hope that you're already having a good week.
Yes.
And that your week will continue to be good.
Yeah. Happy hump day.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back and start looking at cars again. Really quick. One of the things, I just want to say, because, we were looking at cars, like one of the things we were considering doing is leasing. Like in your professional opinion, like, do you have any opinion and professional opinion on leasing a car? You think it's a bad move? It's like essentially like renting a car.
Yeah.
Like renting,
I don't know how
it's
much,
like having a subscription service for a car.
How much of the maintenance are you still on the hook for when you lease a car?
I think like all of it.
Yeah.
It's just that eventually you can trade it for another one and get a new one.
Here's the thing for me about a car is like, get a car, pay it off as fast as you can so that you own it outright, and then like you don't have a car payment. And then I'm a fan of just driving it into the ground, basically. Like once I paid off my car, I'm like, this is my car until basically it gets to the point where your Equinox is at, where it's like something breaks, where it's like not worth it to fix it anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say I'm not a fan. I don't think I have a professional opinion.
I think the people in the comments to this in the comments should tell me like what their opinions are of leasing. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, like if anybody out there
in the listeners professional opinion, you think it's a bad move?
Yeah, I would like to hear if anybody out there, if you lease your car, I would like to hear you talk about like what are the pluses of leasing a car that made you want to lease a car.
Yes. Yeah. And things that you regret or things that you like have to look out for.
Yeah.
But all right.
All right.
That's all.
Have a good week, everybody.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.